So we're 1 month into 2023 and statistically, most people have failed at their New Year's resolution. And that's okay if that was you because you were doomed to fail by relying on such a flawed method. So if you want to change your life for good this time, here are 5 easy steps that you could implement today that I do to this day that has changed my life for good. And maybe it can help you too. So guys, this was me 2 years ago. I was not happy with my life trajectory. I had insomnia issues. I had anxiety issues. I didn't like how I felt and how I looked. Today, not only do I run a 6-figure business, I look and feel more confident. I'm the strongest that I've ever been physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now, am I where I want to be yet? Not close. But that's okay because it's a lifelong journey. But if I can help just one person today versus waiting until I've made it to help others, then why not just do that right now? So guys, here we go. 5 easy steps that you can take today that will change your life. Now the first step is a no-brainer, and it's exercise. You've heard it time and time again, but it's not the action that really matters. You really need to understand why. If you don't understand why, committing to something like exercise long-term is hard. And you're not gonna wanna do it. But if you were to understand why, as in the benefits to exercise, and truly really listen to them, you are less likely to fail because the benefits are just too good. So let's state them. The number 1 benefit to exercise, in my opinion, is brain health. Studies have shown that the number 1 way to improve your brain health is through exercise. It's not crossword puzzles, it's not just reading, it's exercise. As you exercise, you are more likely to breathe and bring oxygen in through and up into your brain, which would then improve your memory and your cognitive abilities. Obviously, improving this will help prevent diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. Another benefit to exercise is hormonal balance. Basically, the hormones in your body regulate how you feel. It is a fact that people that get regular exercise are more happier people. Speaking of hormones, for the fellas watching this, one of the biggest hormones that is important to us in our men's health is testosterone. Testosterone is our sex hormone. It's responsible for not only our libido in the bedroom, but also how you pack on size and how you keep off fat. When you have low testosterone, you are more likely to store a lot of belly fat. You are also likely to have insomnia issues, anxiety issues, depression. You are overall weaker from the inside, from your immune system, when you have low testosterone. Exercise is one of the number 1 ways to naturally boost your testosterone as a man. So fellas, exercising is a way to increase your muscle mass, but also how you feel as a person, how lively you feel. So aside from brain health and regulating your hormones, exercise is also good to build overall strength so that way you can handle your normal day-to-day activities. Even getting up in the morning can hurt for someone who doesn't have the strong enough muscles to carry their own body weight. One solution would be either to 1, make sure that you're not too heavy to carry yourself around, or 2, you become stronger so you can carry yourself around. And then lastly, a underrated reason to exercise is that it's another way to build relationships and community. That is something as we humans thrive on, to connect to others like us. So exercise is one of those things. Joining a sport is one of those things because you are linking yourself with others that is doing tasks similar to you. And one thing that you'll notice is many people in that community, not all of them, we do know that there are a lot of toxic people in most communities, but majority of the people that you meet in exercise groups are gonna be supportive. They're gonna help you push forward more than you would yourself, and that's a good thing. Okay, so number 1 was exercise. That's a no-brainer. Number 2 is going to be more of a mental cue, something that you should be thinking about when you're doing things. Number 2 is putting others before yourself. Now, this is a big concept and it takes a while to implement, but what this looks like is, for example, if you were to come out to a restaurant and you're all ordering food, you would want to make sure others are eating first before yourself, right? Make sure everyone on the table is taken care of before you eat. This trait, this mental practice is a big leadership skill. And if you haven't noticed by now, the biggest influential people in this world that have made a difference, or if money is your goal, who have a lot of money, are leaders. People that can influence others for a higher cause to get them working and moving and taking action towards something bigger than themselves. That's what leaders do. So putting others before yourself is something leaders do. Now, when you put this into action, it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. The first one is is obvious. You know, when you help others, you impact others and the community, and you affect how those people around you view you. And number two, more importantly, you start to change how you view yourself. When you start to help others, you start to build that confidence within yourself. You start to truly believe that you actually deserve genuinely everything that you've ever wanted in life because you helped others get what they want in life. Okay, so that one was a short one, very simple to implement, but keep that in mind. Now, number three is a practical step that you can actually start today, and that is having a regular self-care personal hygiene routine. Now, before all of you manly men out there start saying like that's for women or whatever misogynist views you have, you got to understand that me, myself, I also was one of those men that would say that I believe those things to be very vain, very narcissistic, that paying too much attention to myself in the mirror made me less of a man. But guys, we need to flip that mentality and we need to grow. We need to understand that when you take care of yourself, you watch your personal hygiene, you have to see it in a therapeutic kind of way. Just like when your mother or your father took care of you when you were sick, you need to start doing those things for yourself on a regular basis. The more effort that you put into yourself shows. And what it shows others is that you put in effort into the things that matter to you, like yourself. It also shows that you respect yourself and you want the best for yourselves, that you have a higher standard. And for you guys out there, here's another way to look at it as a man. If you are trying to attract a spouse, a girlfriend, whatever, if you can show them that you can take care of yourself, you're instantly showing them that you can take care of them. A lot of women will tell you this, that they assess the man that they want to be with based on how they dress and how they take care of themselves, how clear their face is, if their haircut suits them, how properly dressed they are for the occasion. Those kinds of things shows that you are competent enough and have critical thinking to take care of them when it matters most. No one is telling you that you have to be a fashionista, be kept up with all the fashion trends, but you do need to pay attention to what makes you look good and makes you presentable. Because even, let's say, for example, in your career, when you go to your interview, if you are not dressed properly for the occasion, you are distracting that other person from getting to know you because they're paying too close attention to what you are presenting. You don't need to be super fashionable, but you do need to be at a certain standard so that way it doesn't become a distraction for those trying to get to know you. And for some guys out here who are not aware of where to start with a self-care and personal hygiene routine, let me know in the comments if that's what you want to see. Like you've seen from the photos, I've came a long way from how I used to present myself, and I think I could help a few other men out there kind of take it to the next level. Okay, moving on from 3, which was having a personal self-care routine, we are moving on to something more spiritual. Number 4, you need to practice meditation. This is something that's been in many different cultures for thousands of years, something that is easily forgotten in today's fast-paced society. And again, that is not our fault. That is the pace that we had to adapt. But that does not mean that we operate best at that pace. Meditation allows us to slow down, to flow, to unlock that inner energy that is required to unlock our brain and bodily functions. Guys, I got into meditation because I play a lot of sports, and you will find that a lot of athletes do meditation. And there's a reason for this. It's because I notice when I play sports, particularly basketball, when it is in a situation where there's a lot of pressure, it's down to the wire, and I'm needing to be a little bit more clutch, I notice what worked for me and others is when I slowed down my breathing. I noticed when I took deep breaths through my nose and into my brain, getting that oxygen in there and breathing out, I slowed down my heart rate as well. I felt less anxious. I was really able to slow down things around me, though I was moving fast, almost like time slowed down. And a lot of athletes will say that they do this all the time. They can unlock it just like that, and they call that flow state. But this concept does not have to just apply to sports. If you can learn to unlock something like this, flow state, but to apply it to everything in your life, from your career to your relationships and how you carry yourself, you are more likely to perform at a higher level. So I noticed when I applied this concept into my career, I flipped and was able to increase my productivity, and even in my relationships when I communicated, because I chose to slow down and control my breathing. I stuttered less, I didn't fumble on my words more. Overall, I got better results. And so meditation does not have to be something complicated like you see the the monks in the mountains by a waterfall and they're there for hours. It doesn't have to be like that. For me, it's as easy as 5 minutes in the morning, away from my phone, away from distractions. I'm just sitting there with my thoughts and I just control my breathing. Really slow it down, really take my time with this. And then I start to think about what I want to do today, what I want to accomplish. I also reflect on what I have accomplished. Some people are moving way too fast where they're not able to reflect and think about the good in life, what they've done, what they've accomplished. And so you only think about the negative because we as humans are tied to trauma more. But the more that you reflect on the good things in life through meditation, you're more likely to walk around more confidently. And this will have a dramatic effect in how you carry yourself and how you tackle everyday tasks. All right, guys, and now we're on to the last step, the fifth step. And this one is also a spirituality thing, and it's also a mental practice. Number 5 is expressing gratitude. In today's society, again, it's fast-paced. We have social media these days. We seem to be even more connected to the world, but we're disconnected more face-to-face. It's become hard for a lot of people to really truly express their thought process or even their gratitude and how they feel towards others around them. What I'm essentially talking about is communication skills. Communication is a key skill in all parts of life. One of the easiest ways to practice this is through expressing gratitude to those around you. Again, this does multiple things. One, you make someone else feel good, and you make yourself feel good. Another important thing to all of these steps is the concept of compounding efforts. It is more beneficial for you to do something small every day than something big occasionally. The reason for that is simple: more practice. What is better, practicing something 12 times a year, 1 time a month, or 365 times in 1 year? It's very simple math. Now, there are certain skills that you can't practice every day because it's hard. That is why we have to practice these other smaller skills daily. Guys, and a very important example of this is in our relationships. It is often the case that many people celebrate their relationships occasionally, maybe once or twice a year, let's say Valentine's or anniversaries. There's nothing wrong with doing those things, but if you were to use that to justify you not showing someone you love them on a daily basis, obviously your relationship is doomed to fail. Take this for example, in my relationship, as I run my own business, it is hard for me to cook on a regular basis, to maintain my nutrition. I am lucky enough to say that my girlfriend took on that task for me. She cooks for me because I'm a terrible cook. And the thing is, she's not the greatest cook either, but I appreciate her efforts because I know how hard it is to cook. Even for yourself, to do it for someone else, it's a lot of effort. So easy enough, the easiest way to maintain our relationship is to express my gratitude for her cooking for me on a regular basis, or any other task that she does for me to help me so that way I can focus on my business and to increasingly get better at my business. For you guys, it might be as simple as thanking someone at work that you work with often and you don't thank enough, or it could be your mom. If your mom checks on you on a regular basis, or she cooks for you, or she helps you in some way, you want to express those things as often as you can. When you walk around expressing gratitude like it's second nature, the world will treat you differently. You will see the world differently. And again, you want to express gratitude genuinely. For me, because I've been practicing this for so long, it's become so easy for me to just meet someone in the gym and I see them putting a lot of effort into their workout and I'll call them out on it. I'll say, hey man, that was a killer set. And I can make relationships in that way through gratitude. The more you do it with the people that you love, it becomes second nature and you can express how you feel to anybody. And that in itself is a superpower. Alright guys, and so that is the 5 easy steps that you can implement today that would change your life and change who you are. Now if that felt way too easy, it's because they were. But it's not those things separately that are hard, it's consistently doing these things every day that is hard. Consistency is hard. Consistency is a skill that you have to build just like any other skill. And the best way to get good at consistency is to train it every day. You train it with these small tiny steps that is manageable until you master that. And then you increase your volume and then it compounds. That is the idea that 1 step will turn into 2 steps and 2 steps will turn into 4, 4 turn into 8, and it will continue on that way. So that way growth is not linear, which takes very long. It's instead more gradual, exponential. right? That is the reason why it seems like people have overnight success, is because of how gradual it is. You've been working on it for a while, but it takes quite a bit time to break out of that point until you become successful at what you're trying to do. And that's what I want to drill into a lot of people, because I think it holds a lot of people back. They feel that it takes a long time to master anything. You hear 10,000 hours, but it really does not have to be that long. For the most part, most people are just not focused long enough, committed to something long enough to see real results. They'll be committed for a couple weeks, even a month, just like New Year's resolutions, and then they will really quit, and it ruins the momentum of the whole thing. And then you restart, right? You climb, and then because you stopped, it drops, and you climb again. And people yo-yo back and forth between growth and then decline and then growth again. But if you can maintain that momentum, daily small actions, and it builds and it compounds, and you will take off like a rocket. So again, I will end with this: real change happens step by step, day by day, one tiny step turning into large leaps and bounds. So if you're struggling out there with this, keep at it. I know you can do this. You can't fail if you do not give up. You got this. I'll see you in the next one.